You're listening to Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventures with Kristin and Polly, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hi, everyone. I'm Polly. This is my lovely friend, Kristin. Thank you for joining us. And I feel like today's kind of a magical, I love the new moon. And today that we're filming or recording this is August 16th. So new moon in Leo, very magical energy. But, you know, even though it's very magical, I feel very, very calm.
You have a very calm Zen vibe to you right now. I'm here.
I do. I feel it. I don't know where it came from, but here it is. But nonetheless, welcome to Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventures, where we talk about all sorts of fun stuff and try to keep it in the spiritual area of life. So,
absolutely.
How's your week going, Kristin?
Pretty good. It's back to school week. So Monday, all three kiddos went back to school where they belong.
Where they belong.
And it was very smooth. Like I could not have asked for a better transition into the school year. Everybody's happy. They like their schedules. They like the people they sit next to in class. They've got good after school activities. Now, granted, this is only day 3, but I think we're off to a killer start.
Did you pack their lunches?
That would be a hard no on that one. Do you know what? In our school district, there is additional funding provided right now where they get both free breakfast and lunch. So everyone's just rolling and they go.
And it's good food?
No. The food is not good. But what are you going to do? It's not like my dinner. No one's begging me to make my special dishes here at the house either. So.
I remember when the kids were little, it was like the lunch thing was so bad. And I think I finally just gave up. Like I always made their lunches, but I think with Finn, the youngest one, he just was like complaining. Oh, because I had to make them 1 year. Like for 1 year, the girls always made theirs, but for 1 year for Finn, I had to make it. And that, I think it lasted a week.
Oh yeah. It's just the best is my sister. She doesn't have any kids. And so she was visiting us.
Is that the best?
No. We sucked all the energy out of her and sent her home exhausted. And so she thought it was funny to pack their lunches. And I remember she took my son's lunchbox and we put like the little orange and the sandwich and a little bag of pretzels. But then she took a potato and put it in there and a full carrot with like the root and everything. Just like random stuff in there.
That is cute.
She thought it was hilarious. And I was like, well, it's heavy, so he'll know something's up. But the little things you do to entertain yourselves.
And the kids. Okay, but now onward to the most important stuff that we can talk about. So I love the new moon. The new moon has been like one of my, I don't know, for a few years. Like I love the energy of the new moon. But I will say, and I think we talked a little bit about this last week, because it was just the other day, it was the full moon. But the full moon, I have like so much energy, I can't sleep. Like I go to sleep and then the moon just calls me out into the yard. The new moon is like, I don't have as much energy and I always like come up like want to do like this grand ceremony or ritual. And then I find myself at the end of the day, I'm like, oh my God, I don't have the energy to follow suit the way I want to. So now I'm like, anyhow, I've just noticed the new moon, I don't have as much energy. How about you? Do you have?
You know, I think the full moon, I'm more awake. Like there's something that I never knew if that was just a thing or if I was just determined I must see the moon because I'm obsessed with actually seeing it and really like honing in on that. New moon. So in California, this new moon, this Leo moon, it was at the exact time was at like 2:38 earlier this morning. And I didn't sleep that great. I was up like every so I don't know. I don't know what that means.
I think it's interesting. I mean, so anybody listening, kind of pay attention because I actually didn't notice, but I just for several months in a row, I noticed, oh my God, I'm so tired and I want to do the ceremony. And I just didn't, it's like I did it, but I didn't have my normal vim and vigor. And so I started tracking and it is notorious for, the new moon is notorious for decreasing your energy because you know, you think about it, you're going inside, you're like, you're being introspective, you're kind of emptying the unresolved or resolved issues, you're letting that go. So you're just this hollowness ready to begin again.
Mm-hmm.
And so you feel a little tired. Anyhow, I feel a little tired.
Yeah.
I mean, not now, but I'm sure it'll catch up with me. You never know.
Yeah. You haven't done your new moon ritual or ceremony yet today?
Well, I kind of did start it. I actually started it yesterday.
What'd you do?
Okay, so when you're working with the moon's energy, you can give it like 3 days. So the day before, the day of, and the day after.
Okay.
And so it's great if you're awake for that, moment of, as you were at 2:30 something a.m. in California. But if you happen to be sleeping like a normal person, then you have that, it's peaks in the day of, but you have a day on either side. So what I had done for a very long time on the new moon, I love writing like my goals, and especially if it's on an eclipse, then I save those because for 6 months, because you can see like what you wrote down, and then and then every morning I say it like in a form of an affirmative prayer, and so you can see what unfolds. It might take 6 months to come into fruition for you to actually see how it unfolds. So it might, some of them you might see by within the next moon cycle, but some of them you might not really see take hold for 6 months. So that's kind of a, like, I love the eclipse new moons. I think they're really fun.
I love that. And I'm a huge fan, thanks to you, of like the journaling and writing it down and then referencing back.
Yeah.
I remember once it was like you advised me to write down like my 2-year plan.
Yeah.
And I did that and then lost the paper and whatever, and was cleaning something out and found it approximately 2 years after I'd written it down. Every bullet point was met, like every goal.
Oh, that's cool.
And it took me back because I remembered like everything written down. So taking that concept, and it is such a good self-check. Even if you don't achieve the goal, it gives you a moment to like reevaluate. Like, is that still what I'm after?
Absolutely. Yeah, because we can always choose again. But this month, so I have like this little journal thing. And so this month and I bought this journal in Sedona 6 months ago. I'll say roughly 6 months ago, when I knew I was heading into something that was potentially challenging. So I bought this because I knew I was going to really be focusing on the energies that I'm working with, how I was feeling. And so it became like, what I wrote all my new moon stuff in. And so I had saved, several of my, God, I probably had like six, and I write full page, sometimes a page and a half of like, they're like, I really write. And then I say it 3 times. Anyhow, I had like six of these pages of new moon energy. And so yesterday I went through and I removed the ones that I was releasing, tore them up. And you know how when we did the landscaping this year, and I have in the back of my house, I have that big circle, like sacred circle. It's like, so that I live in the desert. So I have a path that walks back through a cactus garden to this area that's just like, it's a sacred circle. And I've been waiting to do kind of like a ceremony and figure out what I'm going to do with it. Guess what I'm doing?
What are you doing?
I'm going to take all the things that I tore up and release them in the sacred circle tonight. And in the past, I've burned them, but it's so dry right now. I'm going to bury them.
That's a good idea.
Bury them in the sacred circle. And so that I'm kind of turning that area, which it wasn't intended. It is going to be like where I do a lot of ceremonies. But today's going to be officially the first ceremony that I do in my sacred circle.
Ooh, I love this.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And you know what's cool is the landscapers. So it has like this little path that goes back to it, and there's a circle. And so I had anticipated that the landscapers would know what I was thinking, that I wanted it to be open, like not a closed circle. And they closed the circle. But guess what? I think I'm going to leave it closed. I think I'm going to leave it closed for a while and have that energy kind of stay in there.
Ooh, yes. Do that.
So So that's what's going on. What about you? What type of ceremony are you doing?
Well, definitely writing it down. In past, I've done like talk to text or just tapped it into my phone, but I've gotten away from that because I feel like I'm more present when I actually take pen to paper and write it down. So, did a full, here, you know what? This new moon, I got to read you something because it has been referred to as the wildest lunation of the summer.
Oh,
Excuse me.
really?
Yes, yeah, like this is big and it's very intense and it's got like this warning almost that arguments with those who are dominating our lives
Oh,
we will innately want to fight the patriarchy, like all this like rebellious, let me free, I can do it, I'm independent vibe is happening in this new moon. So
I feel it.
don't you though? And I
Yeah.
feel like really motivated, like the energy of motivation and determination, and like I'm just like wound up on a path. So I'm gonna write down some specific goals in my personal life, my professional life, and my spiritual life, and just kind of very specific. And then I'll meditate on those and kind of like I like your strategy of making them more of like an affirmative statement
Yeah.
prayer. I love that.
Yeah.
So all that I usually try to do this as close to the time of the new moon as possible. So like this morning, it was at 2:38 in the morning, and I didn't have my wits about me yet to do it. So I'll do it at some point today.
So you really try to be up and alert at the time of the new moon
I
because
do,
it seems
and
to be happening always in the middle of the night.
yes, it does. But lucky for me, I just don't sleep that well, so I'm up at some point around it.
So you're ready to go. Um, Okay, so I like the new moon for, think about casting. Like, I love the magic. I love the magic of releasing. I love the magic of, okay, so we have our intentions, we're writing them down in our journal, but I love the magic of taking that intention and releasing it in a way that it can unfold in the highest form possible. So, unfold in a way that's not so structured as like how we write it down in the journal, but releasing it in a way that it comes back to us with light. Like it comes back to us with light, with magic, with space, and enlightens us. Like the way it comes back into our life enlightens us.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. And I think that's part of like the intention is when you set the goal and maybe you write down your specific goal, then you have to just kind of throw it out there and assume, trust, and ask that it is in its highest form and that
Yeah.
everything is of love and light as it most definitely comes to fruition.
Yes. Okay, black tourmaline is a good stone to wear. Smoky quartz, labradorite. There's a few others. I read also pink opal, but I don't know how many folks out there have pink opal. So
Oh, I don't know anyone.
I'm sure there's somebody, but it's not as common as smoky quartz. I don't think I have any in here. I think I have it in another room. But this is my friend. This has been my friend for some time. It
How
doesn't come off.
does you feel it's beneficial? Like, what do you feel?
Well, here's the thing. I got this from, my favorite jeweler, Jess
Yes,
Mahari.
yes.
So I was given a piece of jewelry that I didn't connect with, so I returned that piece of jewelry, and I
I
got
love your
this.
I didn't connect with. I love
I
that.
didn't connect with it, so
Yeah.
I returned it, and I can't even remember what I was gifted. But anyhow, returned it, and I just told her I want one of whatever she calls these things, but power stones.
Oh,
So I let her choose the power stone, and she chose the black tourmaline. And at first, I was like, I'm not, because you think of black tourmaline as like a protective
yeah,
energy,
yeah.
and and so I don't typically move through life thinking I need this protective energy. But Kristen, I'll tell you what, this has been this is it. Like I get so much, I guess, comfort from the stone.
Really?
And I really do. Like it has become, it's almost like I feel like it's my guide, right? Like I get so much strength from it.
I love that.
Yeah, like a little reserve. It's like, like imagine like if you have like a little oxygen tank as you move. This is like my little reserve. I just feel it's just as reassuring. And I'm always grabbing hold of it.
Yeah.
I go to it all the time because it's so reassuring.
Do you wear it all day?
All the time. I take it off. Like yesterday I got a facial, took it off for my facial, but it goes right back on.
What stone is on your ring?
This is a garnet. And
It's very pretty.
so it's a garnet. I was gonna get a ruby. I almost got a ruby because I love ruby.
Yeah.
But I chose the garnet, and now I can't. This is embarrassing, but I can't even remember exactly what garnet is bringing into my life, and I am receiving it because it's on my left hand.
Ooh, okay. So left hand is receiving, right
Yeah.
hand. Okay.
But on a side note, I did order a moonstone.
You did?
And so that's coming because I'm just really feeling pulled about the moon energy. So
I mean, it is the wildest lunation of the summer. So I feel like
I'm ready for it. Okay. Okay. So some of the rituals you can do. Oh, I like this. You can build an altar for the next cycle. So if you like, if you're not somebody that's into like journaling, that type of stuff, or coming up with your affirmations, I am statements, build an altar for the next cycle.
Okay.
Like a meditation altar. So like the things that you want to have come into fruition. I mean, for that thing, you could do a vision board also, right?
True.
Anything that like you put that energy, it's that thoughtful energy, that thoughtful time, and then build it into part of your practice, your daily practice.
Yeah, that's good because then it's because journaling is not for everyone.
It's not.
No. And I only now feel like I've gotten into it recently. Like it was always very annoying to me for whatever reason, like tedious, I think. Like I don't have time for that. But for me, very beneficial to do so. But I like the idea of building an altar because then it's very visual.
Yeah, and you can meditate in front of it. And I think it's really kind of fun because there are people that are very tactile. And so being able to like find the things that they feel are beautiful and put it there, beautiful and meaningful, and they can look at it, they can touch it, and it evokes memories. It can be a very powerful experience. I want to add though, when we think about journaling, I think anyhow, at least when I was a kid, like you thought of journaling as like dear diary, blah 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 blah. And journaling does not have to be like that. Journaling can be, you can write down whatever the hell you want.
Yes.
And you can misspell.
What is it called when you like just free writing, or when you just start writing and then like you're kind of space out and just write a bunch of stuff and then you read it like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Like you're totally present and you're just kind of writing things down, and then you read it again and you're like, well, is that really what I was thinking? Where did that come from? Yeah.
Yeah. And that can be like, it can be channeled messages also, right? Like you can use your journaling as a way to receive messages from the divine.
Ooh, I like that. Yes.
Yeah, there's all sorts of fun things. Here's another thing. And we talked a little bit about this, but notice what phase of the moon you were born in. Because, for example, if you were born in the new moon phase, this is a mighty powerful time for you. So you do something really special for yourself because you have extra vavoom if you were born in the new moon on the new moon. But figure out when you were born, because maybe you're born on the full moon. So then really take advantage of that energy, do an extra ceremony on the full moon if you're a full moon baby.
It's like you're supercharged. Like this is your time.
Supercharged. Yeah. Okay, so when you do your ceremonies, call in your guides, your angels. I love lighting candles. I love candles.
Any specific color, or are you just like, light a candle?
I just light a candle. But you remember how last year I was doing a new moon ceremony and I had those crystal, I had 2 crystal vases or candle holders from Tiffany that somebody gave me.
Yes.
And one of them blew up. It just exploded when isn't that crazy? Did I tell you about that?
No, this is a story I would remember. So
Yeah, so I was doing like a new moon ceremony and these are
outside,
lead crystal, no, inside my house. And the thing blew up. Like it just,
oh my
yeah,
God.
it was quite shocking.
Was there a candle in it?
Yeah,
And it blew
yeah,
up?
there was a candle of both of them. And I guess it was just like, it was quite surprising.
That's crazy town.
It was, it got my attention.
Yes.
I can't remember what I was trying to manifest on that particular date, but it was jarring.
Wow.
I do love recognizing the earth energy. I love like having that intentional grounding to the earth so that we can receive other energies, so that we can embody it, so that we right so that we can actually use it. Because if we're not grounded and we get all this other energy, we can't necessarily bring it into like have it become action, take
Yes.
form, if that makes sense.
Let's veer off the moon for a hot second about grounding.
Yes.
So I was reading something. I was doing a little bit of research and stuff last night, and I got down a rabbit hole of grounding and how no matter what spiritual work you do and what kind of energy healing and everything, it is not going to really resonate and take hold and be effective if you are not grounded into the earth. So suggested practices are get your feet onto the earth in water, sand, dirt, grass, something every day so that you can physically feel grounded and just kind of feel how that is. Do you do that every day? Like barefoot, earth, connect? Yeah.
Pretty much. And then my floor in this house is
Right. Tiles.
it's like, yeah, like it was like handmade,
Okay.
like, so it's made out of clay, like handmade.
Mhm.
And there are some sharp edges, some surprisingly sharp edges, but I go barefoot a lot on it. And then I go barefoot outside in the back
Okay.
yard on stone. So
Yeah.
yes, I do. I love being barefoot. I love the earth. I love the earth energy.
Yeah.
I love it.
It is okay, so do you talk to your plants? I'm really sidetracking here.
I do when I water them, like I said, because they're dying. I have to have some of them replaced in the fall. And so I feel like the heat doesn't bother me so much, but I feel for the plants and the animals.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. We so the plants, I have 2 like, I don't even know the exact botanical term, but they're like snake plants. They're 2 plants in the studio on either entrance of the Pilates studio doors. And so we usually leave the door open until it gets too hot and then we shut it in air conditioning. So the plants are not living their best life right now. Having said that, someone left a bottle of water and I was like, I'll just water the plants with that. And someone said, you got to talk to them when you water them. They're live creatures and they thrive. They really need your love. And I was like, I've never thought about talking to the plants and really trying to engage with our botanical.
I try to water them equal because especially along my house where the plants are really suffering, I don't want to give one of them more water than another one. And so I'm very conscious about watering them equal, even though some of them are having a rougher time than others.
Some of them are.
And I feel bad because I am going to have somebody come in and replace them. And that is a little sad. But anyhow, on a side note, yes. What about the Earth Star chakra? Do you work with that every day? Because I think that is so important for able to receive. So how do you work with that?
So when I start my meditation, I start down there and I think about, like, ideally I'm actually outside with my feet in the earth, but sometimes that's not feasible. So I just think about how I feel grounded and connected into the earth. And then I do like more of a gratitude vibe where I'm thankful for everything that Mother Earth has given me. And I'm sending my energy back down and just do a connection. And then I pull through that up to the root chakra, and I just kind of start going up and down until I am like the conduit that all my chakras connect the earth to the sky.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. Yeah, and recognizing how supported you are, right? Like how each of us are supported. I think that that's really important. And the earth supports us, right? Like the earth the earth really does support us, but the earth energy also supports us. Like just how powerful and lucky we are to be part of this experience.
Yes. And it has to offer us everything we need. So
Yeah.
then we just need to be grateful and take care of it. But that's
Yes, true enough.
yeah.
Okay, so how do you release your energy? So if you think about like the new moon is a great time to release so that you're beginning again. What do you do for that?
You know, I just kind of if I remember when I'm taking a shower, I'll just feel like everything that no longer serves me just washes off and goes down the drain. But for some reason, it's hard for me to remember to like take care of that when I'm in the shower. So I'll just do like a full, just kind of feel that I'm in my little energy bubble. And all of a sudden there's like a vacuum on the outside and it sucks out anything that no longer serves me. And I don't really sometimes I'll get specific in my mind on exactly what I want to release. But then I also do a heavy trust into the universe that they'll anything that's no longer serving me or not bringing me to my higher self. Because I kind of feel like maybe universe knows best.
You know what? I love that. I love, not feeling like you have to control everything and dictate what's being released, what's being left. I mean, my God, trusting the universe, source, God, whatever you work with, to help relieve you of your burdens.
Yes. Yeah. Because there are some very specific, like if you've got a bad habit, okay, this is not serving me. I got to get rid of it. But there's underlying issues that are holding you back, some limiting beliefs. I love the idea of, I know some of my limiting beliefs, but there's also others that I haven't even recognized yet that are holding me back. Cognitively, I can't even think beyond them. And I want those pulled away and gone.
Yeah. Well, so how do you deal with, like, for myself, I can think of something that I'm dealing with right now. And I feel like, okay, when I start feeling like I'm being like my choices are being removed from me. And then I get kind of, especially now with this new moon Leo energy, I'm like, no, thank you. I do not choose to go in the corner. So how do you deal? Like, I know that there's something deeper to my feeling like I need to be the free spirit, but right. Like, I know that there's something deeper to that.
Yep.
Then, right. So how do you deal with that when you know that there's something deeper to just like your reaction or how you're feeling right now? Do you dive in and tackle that thing that's deeper at the root of your irritation, or do you just?
I don't. I can't. I just don't have it in me to go so deep right out of the gate. I'm more of like a chip away kind of gal where
Okay.
I'll notice the big picture, but it takes me a while to warm up to the idea of like really getting to the root of it, especially if doing so is going to cause me any kind of displeasure. Then I usually chop away at it real slow.
It's so funny.
Yeah, there was another statement about this wild lunation of this new moon is we're fighting for autonomy and that hold us back from living our best lives. That is literally one of the statements that I came upon more than once when I was researching the moon. And I love that. Nobody can.
But you know what? That is the theme of like really the time, like astrologically and everything, the theme of what we're living in right now. Like that's what all the astrologers have been talking about for the past year, that this is like, so maybe it's just stronger in this with this new moon. So this month, but it's such a powerful time. Like the paradigms are shifting. The old patterns are being broken down. The old systems are being broken down. It's really about like self-autonomy. And so everything is shifting in a very powerful way.
Yes.
And yeah, so if you haven't been, as you say, chipping away towards that, or you've been holding on to the old, opening up the door at 5 with a martini in your hand and welcoming the hard worker back into the house, that might be a little rough.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. Um,
Do you own an apron, by the way?
I do own an apron. I bought it for myself this past Christmas season to make cookies.
Oh my God, that's great. Um,
Do you own an apron?
I do not own an apron, and I have not owned an iron for, God, I haven't, oh my God, since I was a kid.
Well,
And
irons are not. No one owns an iron. Steamers. You got to get.
oh no, my now 17-year-old owns an iron.
He does.
He does, because ask me if he's ever used it. I highly doubt it, but he wanted an iron. I can't remember what it was for. Like he was really whatever that I, probably like I didn't cut the crust off the sandwiches or own an iron.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now he's got an iron. So
Yeah, but the iron's here and he's in Hawaii. So how does that work?
So you can use it if you need to iron anything.
I'm not using that damn thing.
No. If I have to iron something, I usually don't purchase it. I mean, let's be honest. I'm in workout clothes all the time. So
yeah, I'm not going to. Okay, the moon embodies our emotions, right? Like if you think about moon energy, it's very emotional. It's our emotional energy. So you can think of like when it's the full moon, you can have some wild emotions. You can have big emotions, but maybe the new moon has you work on those inner emotions, like those emotions that you don't necessarily share with others.
Yes.
Kind of like those secret feeling emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The things deeper.
I think it goes real deep, and this moon is about like things coming to light. So if you maybe you're struggling with something and you need to like work it out, then this moon is about that coming to light. So if release it, there were phrases describing this moon, like your skeletons in your closet are going to come out. If you're being deceitful, it's going to come to light. Like I was reading it like, oh my God, I got to really check myself and clean out anything. Like
clean out the skeletons.
Yes. This is your time to be like, okay, I got to do a self-check. I mean, the vibe was, whatever, like any secrets or anything that you're doing in the dark, it's going to come to light here. And then, but spinning it positive, what a great opportunity for you to be forced into consideration. Do I want this in my life or not?
Okay. How do you feel like the new moon, do you personally feel like the new moon is a great time for communication? Like, like if you're having, let's begin again, it's beginnings. How does that work?
I mean, this one, it's like shakeups and breakups are going to happen. So I think it's forced communication, but forced in a good way. Like maybe this is something you've been contemplating on saying, on doing, on releasing, on.
So maybe you're releasing pent up words, like things that you weren't able to express before, thoughts, words, feelings, beliefs. Maybe this new moon is going to become a vehicle for you to release those.
To the words. Like this is something needs to go, and now here you go. You're going to have the words and it's going to come out, and maybe some circumstances kind of push to that. Like the world is navigating us to the release.
Well, it's interesting because like you think of Leo energy as like, hey, look at me. It's all about me, preening, shiny. It's all about being fun. I'm on stage. So it's an interesting time if we think about we're dealing with that. Like, who's going to be the person that is like, hey, it's all, who's going to be the person that grabs hold of this, look at me energy. and turn that, but then still work internally. So maybe that's the piece, is like, you can say it's all about me, but we're not necessarily asking the world to look at us, because we're taking it's all about me, but we're turning it inside and doing that inner work.
Yeah. I think ideally, yes. Like hopefully that would be best case scenario. That would be a way to really positively navigate through the new moon. The inner work is key.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I have a Leo baby, and she turns 23 on Saturday. So I'm gonna have to, yeah. And she definitely has that Leo energy, that fiery, like,
I love Leo. That's one of my faves.
yeah. That look at me go.
And I'm like, look at you.
But she likes to drive. She'll drive you all around at retreats.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Look at me go.
Look at
Thank
me
you. Okay, so yeah, what are your emotions like in the new moon?
I would say very much motivated, but I am kind of emotionally all over the place. This is a tricky one too, because of where we're at in the school year. For example, one of my dear friends that I visited when we were back in Missouri, she is taking her 18-year-old to school, to college. So that is something. And so we've been, I've been really communicating with her and kind of like vicariously feeling that, because my daughter going through the college tours and we went back there. And so I'm very much like aligned with that thought process now. So I feel for her in that she's about to take her kid to college and then come home, and it's a whole new vibe with the dynamics now. So I think that is something to consider, because she's not the only one. I mean, this is the time where everyone moves their kids to college, or maybe they don't go away to college and maybe they make some sort of other transition, but the times are changing this week, this new moon series.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's the interesting thing. Yeah. Yeah. And I used to love, like, when I was a kid and I went to school up until a certain age, I used to love like the fall, like, because the promise of a new year, like what is being offered, what's gonna, who shows up to school, the different personalities. And so you can look at that even like with the new moon, like the promise of the new personalities coming in, the promise of the new opportunities, the promise of, like, I love that.
And it always makes me just a little bit like melancholy when you take a time to really analyze what's happening, and then you appreciate, like, this is the end of an era, but oh, how fantastic that other things are coming in. And just makes me feel like, not sad, not gloriously happy, but just you have a moment where you're like, oh, time is passing and that chapter is over, and how fantastic. And now here's what comes next. It's just it's a big feeling for me that time is passing like that. I don't know.
So interesting. See, I don't, that's so interesting, because I don't feel that way at all. Like, I'm just like, I guess I get so excited about new beginnings.
That, as you should, as we all should.
But so it's like, this is horrible, but it's very easy. Like, like, it's very, like, I can live, like, I'm fine if I have two things in my refrigerator and one thing in the pantry. Like, I'm very fine with kind of this austere, like, I'm good with, like, not much. So it's very easy for me to begin again.
Yeah.
Right. It's very, like, I don't want to have a bunch of, if you've had to move and stuff, you don't want to have to, like, move all that. It's a lot. So it's very easy for me to just be like, to begin again.
Yes. What is that? There's a song, and one of the lines is, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. And I'm like, it's a deep thought. Although
interesting. Interesting that, so interesting. Okay, so let's pull a card.
Oh, okay. What is our theme? Like,
theme of the week. Oh, wait, we could do that, or we could do theme of the new moon. Which sounds better?
I like theme of the new moon.
Okay, since we've been talking about the new moon. Hey, and if there's anybody listening that loves the moon, or has comments, questions, whatever, reach out to us on our Instagram, which Our good friend Kristen is the one that mans that beast.
Yes, I do. It's truth.wellness.psychic. You can follow us on Instagram there.
Okay, so the new moon energy. You know, the other night I was woken up by javelinas because I leave the hose running like in my back by the cactus garden. So there's always a little stream for all the birds and the bunnies and all. And so there was a whole family of javelinas they're so loud when they come, they just bump up against the house and everything. So loud they woke me up, but it was so cute. They were like little babies and they were like drinking out of, it's so cute.
Oh my God, that is adorable.
It was so cute. They were there for like half an hour. Cutest little things.
How many were there?
A lot. I don't even know. But there was probably, I don't know, at least 6 because they had like their little babies. Their little babies were like, you know, like maybe 6, 7 inches tall. They were so cute. They were so cute.
Did you watch them?
Yeah, for a little bit, but I didn't want to because they were like so close to me. They were just through the slider, so they were like 6 inches away. They were like so close to me. It was so cute.
Oh,
So cute.
Holly loves animals.
I do. It makes me so happy. It was a gift. Okay.
Look at the card. Wait, where's my camera?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I love the light.
Transition. So I think this is it's ushering in change, like change, big time. Transformation, change, but like very stair-steppy, like take one stride at a time, one step at a time, and huge. I love how she's like kind of looking down, but she's very peaceful. And I think this change is for the better. So there's no warning, there's no caution. It's just suggestion, like take one step at a time. It's a good journey. Everything that's changing, and there is change. There is change, and it is absolutely for the better.
Love it. Okay, so here's what's interesting is I got 6 of cups. So we have 2 6s.
Huh.
And so when I think of 6s, it's like, you know, because 5s, lots of times they can be a little unrest.
Mm-hmm.
And so we both have 6s. 6 of cups is like support. You can also think of service, like how are you being of service? Who's being of service to you? But and there's balance. Like I like the balance in this, and so look for the ways balance comes into your life. But I also pulled from my other deck that I'm using a lot right now, and it's the 3 of Hearts, which is joy.
Oh, I love that.
I do too. And so
card, it's so pretty.
It is so pretty because look at the light, the way the tree is outlined in light. So that's it's that beautiful energy. Look at how the joy. Oh, here's another thing. Like look how the how the heart, how it starts, like goes from the roots up to the top and turns into light, and is so how the joy is like being released in light. I love that. So look at the way you release your joy. Like, how do you release your joy? I love that. How do you experience your joy? So maybe, and I mean, Leos are all about that type of stuff, fun, joy. So how do you express your joy? How are you receiving your joy? Where is your joy taking root?
Yes. And it's very much about the Earth Star chakra, like you're pulling the energy up. I love that.
Yeah, love it. I do too. And so maybe that's an interesting thing for people to try. I mean, the way I view spirituality or our practices is have a practice, but you know, be open to having it transform because you're going to change. And so you can play with that and be like, what am I pulling up? Am I pulling up joy today? Am I pulling up love today? Like, what am I pulling up out of the earth? And how is it going up through all my chakras? And how is this being expressed in my world?
Yes. And that's key though, like be willing to play with your practice. Like it's just it's everything that you read and you hear and you know, all the good stuff is just a suggestion. And then when you start taking it and making it your own, that's when it really resonates and feels like viable and good. It doesn't have to, it's not black and white. It can be so.
And it should be fun. And sometimes our practice is fun, but it's very very deep work. And then other times our practice is like, is joyful, right? It's just very easy, and it's just like very, it's like it's so easy to transition from that joy-filled meditation to life, whereas other times we have meditations or practice that's feels much deeper, and it's almost like a little bit of a jar to go from that meditation, that daily practice, to life, if that makes sense.
Yes, it totally makes sense. Yeah. And the idea is to get really right inside, feel good, feel connected, and then let that be what you take into the world to share with others and start interacting.
And knowing that as long as you're open, you're going to receive what you're meant to receive, like what's going to serve you best. And we are in this together, and so what we're bringing into the world and sharing with others.
Yes, we are in it together.
We are in it together. And so with that, have fun, experience joy, because that will radiate throughout, all throughout the world. Okay, so if people want to connect with you, and you can, and have you do like an energy session or a private Pilates class, how do they do it? Where do they find you?
The best way to find me is to go to the website, garagepilates.net. And there's a contact button, and you can locate me there. Follow me on Instagram, Garage Pilates, all one word. You can follow this channel, truth.wellness.psychic, and that'll connect you with both Polly and myself. Perfect.
You can find me at pollywirum.com. That's my website, and you can sign up for my newsletter. If you're interested in taking part in a psychic class, you can reach out to me, because I teach beginning psychic and advanced psychic. So you could be a guest on the advanced psychic, or guest in the beginning. I don't care. Whatever makes you happy. And then you can also find my writing in on Your Tango and Eden Magazine.
Yes, I highly recommend Polly's classes. I love it.
They're fun.
They are so fun, especially this last one with your guest. She was
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, I know. And you know what's really cool is I just got a response from somebody that, because, when you have your own business, you can do what you want. So I comped her to come to the retreat because she was going through a lot. And so I just got a message, and she just bought her plane ticket to the retreat in Sedona. But it's just, that is like the coolest thing, because she's so excited. She's, and it's going to be on the full moon, and she's so excited. And it's just like, bringing people together, and we're under the full moon, and we're going to be doing ceremonies, and there's going to be so much stuff, it makes my heart happy.
Yes. Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
And you know how I love getting like the little gift bag for people.
Yes.
So I did order yesterday. It's a moon ritual, so it has like rituals and spells for every phase of the moon. So everybody will get that, and then I'll get the corresponding crystals. So people will have the corresponding crystals for every. So then they can go home and do these rituals with the crystals. I'm not giving them a candle because I don't want to burn the place down.
That's good common sense.
Lots of times I give candles. This time I'm holding off on the candles and incense. I do not want to be part of.
That's something they can choose to add in with their own individual.
At home.
Yes, under the safety of their own.
After they leave where we're having the retreat.
Yes, that's the way to do it.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. Follow us on Instagram. Follow Kristin at Garage Pilates. Hop in for a class. Follow me on pollywirum.com. Thank you, and have a beautiful week.
Yes, happy new moon.
Yes.
You're listening to Truth, Wellness, and Psychic Adventures with Kristin and Polly, only on LA Talk Radio.